There it is, you're hearing it here today. Alright, what's up guys? So today we're going to be talking about turbo and turbo upgrades. It's early morning and decided I just wanted to come in here and give you guys an update about the GTI. This is my 2019 Mark 7.5 6-speed. It once had a EQT Vortex standard turbo. Full bolt-on car, probably making about mid to high 400s on full E85. But today that has switched over. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the turbo swap that we did. It's kind of something that I've been having in the works here. I'm excited to finally, talk about it and showcase it to you guys and explain what's been going on with that. I'm going to pop the hood here, but damn, look at this. The car is so dirty, it's dusty. It's been raining out a lot, so we've got all these like little marks and stuff. Let's go ahead and pop the hood here. Let's talk a little bit about what's been going on. So if you've been following the channel and you've watched the most recent videos, you have already seen this turbo in action. You were given a sneak peek if you watched the race against the Camaro ZL1 that was bolt-on. 60 roll, yeah. Super fun, did not expect that. But you've seen it in action, and the mod list on this is basically, like I said, it's a full bolt-on car. So you've got your intake, upgraded intercooler here, full exhaust out back, turbo inlet, other supporting mods, but that's basically the gist of it, and it's running on full E85. Before I talk about the new turbo that we swapped out for, let me explain the turbo that I had prior and how that setup was and exactly what that was like. So this car was running EQT Vortex standard. Now what does that mean? It's basically a Golf GTI size turbo that's considered a hybrid. So you've got the same housing size that you would in a GTI turbo, right? The turbine inside here, the exact same size, identical to a OEM spec GTI turbo, but the internal compressor wheels and turbine wheels are larger. EQT, flip it over, turbine wheel is there, right? Cool. The most important thing, very smooth and just beefier overall, allows for more airflow, more power. You know the rest. So what we did was we took out that GTI size turbo, right? We took it out and we placed it and swapped it in for a Golf R sized hybrid turbo. Bear with me guys, this is more for the people who are new to the GTI community and Volkswagen in general. That's basically what we did. We took that one out, swapped it over for a Golf R sized hybrid turbo, or what they call an IS38 turbo, which is very similar to the GTI turbo. The main difference, guys, is that with the Golf R turbos, you get a slightly larger hot side or turbine side housing. What does that mean? We get similar characteristics as the EQT Vortex standard turbo that I had, but you allow for more air up top because of the hot side right here. So essentially, the power band has changed a little bit. You sacrifice a tad bit of spool time, but you get more top end. Now, the Vortex standard was a pretty solid turbo. I enjoyed it so much. Power figures usually go from about just over 400 wheel horsepower, 91 octane. And then if you do 85, you're probably between mid to high 400s horsepower. This turbo, however, allows you to break into the 500 horsepower range, because swapping out to the Golf R sized turbo there, it allows for usually about 30 to 40 horsepower gain. So that's what we went ahead and did. Let's take a look. Catless downpipe right there. This is the EQT Vortex XL. There it is. You're hearing it here today. I've been kind of keeping this in the works a little bit. You have gotten little snippets and sneak peeks of it throughout the channel. You guys probably didn't notice, but I've been kind of sprinkling different mods around the engine bay and everything throughout the entire car, basically leading up to this turbo swap. So what we did was we re-upgraded our intercooler here that's underneath. We originally had the eBay intercooler that was sandwiched back there. We took that one out, replaced it for a higher flowing intercooler. So far I'm loving this one more. We originally had the stock catback exhaust. We took that out, replaced it with a titanium catback exhaust from Cobb. This could probably get you pulled over. Now it's not like it's straight piped or anything like that. A couple little things here and there, little tweaks that I've been working on to finally drop in a slightly larger turbo and gain all the benefits. Nah, but this thing has been a lot of fun. So we talked about what the prior turbo was, the EQT Vortex Standard, right? And now we talked a little bit about what the EQT XL is like. Let's talk a little bit about some of the changes, anything that I have noticed swapping over from a Vortex Standard to an XL. I'm sure some of you guys would like to know this because you're contemplating which one to get. Let me explain very briefly some of the key things, or I guess some of the things that are similar. The EQT Vortex Standard, it spools quick for a hybrid. The Vortex XL, again, you sacrifice a little bit of spool time, but for more top end, usually 30 to 40 horsepower. Rough estimate, don't quote me on that, but that's usually what I have seen. The turbo whistle is still there between the two turbos. You get this kind of like little whistly sound around 2K RPMs. Very cool sounding, sounds modded for sure. MPGs, some of you might want to know about this. I honestly did not see a difference between MPGs. The gas burns about the same, especially when you've got a MPI multi-port injection kit like I do. Right here, you see the fuel rail. Boom, check it out. Now, daily driving, it's fine. It drives just like stock. No worries there. 85 still burns a little bit quicker, but it still burns just about the same. But once you start getting into boost, tapping in there, you will definitely notice lower MPGs versus a completely stock direct injection only car. We've got the EQT. Oh, well, let's zoom in on that right there. Let's focus. There it is. We've got EQT sensors on this car, so this car can go beyond the factory boost limits. Normally these vehicles cannot go past 29 psi on stock sensors. Since these have been upgraded, we can go beyond 30 psi. So you combine the fueling with the upgraded sensors that allows for a larger or higher boost levels, and then you combine it with a turbo that can flow better on the higher RPMs there because of that turbine side. We've got the full flowing intake all the way down to the back there. Solid intercooler setup. You've got an overall nice street build. Something like this, again, rough estimate, can break into 500 wheel horsepower. Now with the setup that I have, guys, even though this turbo was meant to spool a little bit later than the Vortex Standard would, with the setup that I have and the way how I tweaked it, peak boost comes in around the same time as the EQT Standard Vortex. It honestly feels like there's no change. You get the wide power band of the Vortex Standard. It comes in earlier and then it holds all the way to red line, but allows some more top end. So I feel like I'm getting the best of both. Now that's not to bag on the Vortex standard, because that is such a good turbo already. Number one, it's cheaper, it's more low key. I mean, if you pull up and pop the hood or something, people usually can't really tell unless they really know these cars and they work on them often. So you got a low key turbo with the Vortex standard. I think that option would be great for people who would like to, or who live in higher altitudes and they prefer to have an earlier spool. That's the turbo that I would go with. I, on the other hand, before switching over to a different platform, guys, I wanted to try the Vortex XL. I wanted to see what it was all about and basically give a nice comparison between the two. So overall, man, this makes for a very fun street build setup. I'm enjoying it a lot. The car is tuned by EQT. It's on full E85. So shout out to them. Shout out to Matt for getting the car dialed in. Stay tuned for the next videos. We got a couple races lined up. I think one of them will be against a different IS38 hybrid. That one is Sneekytuned. So stay tuned for that, guys. Should be a lot of fun. Let's see how this car stacks up against other cars out there on the streets, man. It's nah, but loving this setup. When I first got this car, I was like, oh, you know, I'll just get like a stage 1 or stage 2, call it a day. Here we are now, right? Got the full bolt-ons with the turbo upgrade. These cars are just that fun. I would recommend, if modding is not cheap, right? But if it's your hobby and if you have the extra funds to, you know, tweak up some things, it's definitely a fun ride. Anyways, enough of that. Stay tuned for the next video, guys. As always, let me know what you think and drop the comments down below if you have questions, etc, 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 etc. All right, take care, peace out, catch you on the next one.